What is good, YouTube? Welcome back to a brand new video here on the 2K Rebuild channel. As today, we're going to be doing that rumor that's been going around a little bit, I guess, about Donovan Mitchell potentially being one playoff series away from being a New York Knick. Before we get into this video, though, guys, go ahead and drop a like and subscribe to this YouTube channel if you've not already. Always greatly appreciated. It helps grow the channel. So Donovan Mitchell apparently is one playoff loss or playoff series loss in the first round away from requesting a trade to the New York Knicks. Does this sound familiar? I feel like we get this a lot with just players on small market teams traded to big market teams. Obviously, that's how the NBA works. It seems like that's just what NBA media wants to see, is get these guys in these big markets and Donovan Mitchell out of a small market in Utah. So that's what it, kind of points out to me. But regardless, as you guys know, I do like to do rumor rebuilds. I do like to do scenario rebuilds. So that's kind of what we're doing today. Donovan Mitchell, let's see if him being a New York Knick would mean anything and bring this New York Knicks team a championship and have better playoff success here in New York rather than Utah. And then obviously there's also been the whole thing about how Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell don't always get along ever since that whole dilemma that happened when we had the bubble go down, of course. So to be honest with you, the trade I made, I'm not really sure would be the trade that would go through. I don't really know what a Donovan Mitchell trade looks like. I assume that it would be a very, very heavy package because Donovan Mitchell was like 26, 25 years old. So yeah, it's probably going to cost quite a bit. So this is what I sent through. So it was Julius Randle, Obi Toppin, Emmanuel Quickley, Quentin Grimes, and 2 first-round picks, one of them being the 9th pick in the draft for Donovan Mitchell. So basically, that is a trade I made. Is this an overpay? Maybe. Is it not enough? Maybe. It just kind of depends who you ask, I feel like. So for me, if I looked at this, I feel like we're overpaying maybe a little bit. Maybe you don't throw Quentin Grimes in there and you throw other picks and pick swaps in there instead, or maybe don't throw Quickley in there or whatever. I don't know. Basically, that's the trade we made. We were able to keep RJ Barrett, which also makes me question whether or not the Jazz would allow that to happen. Would they allow the Knicks to keep RJ Barrett? I don't think they would, but you just never really know. So now we have Donovan Mitchell, RJ Barrett, and then you got Derrick Rose, Mitchell Robinson, Kemba Walker, of course, still here, which we do want to trade Kemba Walker, of course, as well. I don't really want to keep Kemba Walker here. So Julius Randle been a little bit underwhelming ever since his All-Star year, obviously. So Knicks fans are a little disappointed. They didn't want him out of here. Additionally, today's video is sponsored by Prize Picks, which is a DFS player props app that's matching up to a $100 deposit when you use my code Crushables. Let me show you. Prize Picks is a DFS app where you're literally facing no one other than the numbers. You're just facing the projections. Let me show you some of my past entries. So on this one, I decided to do a power play where I decided to bet the over on Rudy Gobert and Harrison Barnes. The power play was able to 3 times my money, and Rudy Gobert and Harrison Barnes were both able to hit, which mounted me to $150. On this one, I did a flex play with LaMelo, Fred VanVleet, Joe Harrison, Gordon Hayward. Unfortunately, Joe Harris was only like 3 points off. If he literally hit one of his threes, I would have walked away with $100. So unfortunate, but that's just what happens. But I didn't walk away with nothing, as I was still able to win $32 after only betting 21. So I didn't walk away with nothing. So you can decide whether or not you want to do flex plays or power plays. Feel free to use my link in the description. Of course, you can always ask me on Twitter if you have any questions, and use my code Crushables when you sign up. Oh, excuse me, I started choking on my words for a second, but I saw a meme yesterday that was you know, that guy, it's that guy that sits here like this, and then it's like they have the trade packages on, both sides or whatever, and it was like, you get Donovan Mitchell, and then, or I get Donovan Mitchell, you get Julius Randle's bum ass, and Kemba Walker, which just made me laugh hysterically yesterday for some reason. So I thought it'd be fun. And of course, I also had another subscriber DM it to me on Twitter. So, I thought for sure we could go ahead and jump in and do this Donovan Mitchell Knicks rebuild, even though it may not happen in real life. I did skip the draft on accident, which I meant to actually jump into it, but I guess it's okay that we got a center out of the draft. But as far as free agency, obviously Cameron Reddish is a big restricted free agent that the Knicks are probably going to want back, I would imagine. So we are going to try to get him back, and then I'll offer the other other 2 contracts to try to steer them back here as well. So we have Mitchell Robinson as a free agent, Cameron Reddish, Dotson, and then Lucas Semantic. So Mitchell Robinson, we're going to try to get him back. Derrick Rose, Kemba Walker, Alec Burks, and then you got Donovan Mitchell, RJ Barrett, Evan Fournier, no small forward and no power forward, and then we have Nerlens Noel at center. So I think I do want Mitchell Robinson back at the center position. I am going to go ahead and offer him a 4-year contract, and then I also, of course, am going to want Cameron Reddish back just because the Knicks did trade for him, so I think it makes sense to try to keep him around. So we'll grab Cameron Reddish back, hopefully, and let's see if we can make something happen here. So Cameron Reddish, I don't know if he'd get paid this much, but sure. Actually, he probably wouldn't get paid this much. This might be a little too much, but I'm just going to sign it to him anyway. So we get Reddish back. We have Mitchell Robinson back. So now we've kind of locked ourselves into the core that we have. But don't worry. We do have the ability to make a trade. We have plenty of salary on our roster. So one thing I do want to do, I like RJ Barrett, which also is another trade asset possibly. But since we have Donovan Mitchell here, you know, I don't think Donovan Mitchell could do this all on his own. As much as I love RJ and I think Kevin Reddish could become something, I think it would be important for Donovan Mitchell, if something like this were to happen, to get a co-star here. Now, who is that co-star, you ask? I actually have no idea. I haven't even really thought about it. But I do want to try to maybe potentially find a co-star for Donovan Mitchell in this offseason, just try to form a dynamic duo here in New York this offseason. Where does that come from, you ask? Like I said, I'm not totally sure, but I want to try to bring someone here to New York to co-star with Donovan Mitchell here to try to bring this New York Knicks team a championship. We'll see where that's going to come from. It might take them a while to look, but I got to see something that would make sense, and hopefully we'll make that trade when something does come upon myself. So actually what we're going to do, instead of trading for that co-star right now, we're actually going to wait on it. We're going to just roll with RJ Barrett, Cameron Reddish, Mitchell Robinson, and kind of just see how this core is going to perform without doing anything crazy just yet. I kind of just want to see how it's going to go. But at the trade deadline, I will go ahead and tell you there is a huge possibility that maybe we make a trade there. Derrick Rose is going to go down in overall. There's an expiring contract. There's a lot of expiring contracts here. We have a team option on Derrick Rose, which we could accept for a trade. But RJ Barrett's up to an 87. Donovan Mitchell, Mitchell Robinson, Cameron Reddish. So I guess it just depends. You could technically say that potentially you have RJ Barrett as a co-star with Donovan Mitchell, which is why you kept him out of the trade to begin with. Or what you could say is RJ Barrett could be a very big trade chip to a team that would be interested in trading away a potential star for like a younger player. So that's also something we could keep in mind for this scenario here. So I did not mean to click the draft lottery. What the hell just happened? Let me go back to where I belong. So let's go to next season like I wanted to. So power ranking is going to list number 9 with Donovan Mitchell here in New York. I forgot to trade away Kemba Walker, by the way. I would assume Kemba Walker, I don't think will be in New York past this season. So I'm just going to release him. I totally forgot about him, to be honest. So we're going to have Derrick Rose, Donovan Mitchell, RJ Barrett, Otto Porter, Mitchell Robinson, Cameron Reddish, Alec Burks, Norris Well, Evan Fournier, and that's going to be it. So we're going to roll with this rotation. Honestly, now that I think about it, I probably should have kept Kemba Walker for another trade piece at the trade deadline, but it is what it is. So we're going to go ahead and simulate this or put this to a balanced system. This is going to be our rotation for the year. So Derrick Rose is going to start with Donovan Mitchell. Again, really potentially looking forward to potentially getting another co-star at the trade deadline if possible, or maybe RJ Barrett is that guy we need, and maybe we could find a way to pull a trade, maybe not for like a really good superstar, maybe not superstar I should say, but maybe not like a star we're looking for, but maybe a guy that could make some sense as a third option, with RJ Barrett and Donovan Mitchell being the first two options. So we'll just kind of see how things go. We'll feel it out. We're going to simulate this first season and kind of see how things go. But I definitely want to stop at the trade deadline with all the expiring contracts we have and make some type of trade to bring in someone to make this roster even better. So we have stopped at the trade deadline as the top 4 seed in the East, and I love what RJ Barrett is doing for us. He definitely looks like that guy that I wanted to be next to Donovan Mitchell, who's averaging 22 points per game, and we're a top 4 seed. But outside of these two, I do want to bring in another guy that's just going to help us even further. So I'm looking at the point guard position. I'm looking at the power forward position. Derrick Rose isn't the long-term answer there. Obviously, I do like him a lot, but I would like to bring in someone else potentially. So I'm looking at this and all the salary that we have, and I have a couple of guys in mind, obviously, either at the shooting guard, or not shooting guard, point guard or power forward spot. So if you go to Team Intel and kind of take a look what our options are. So immediately comes to mind, obviously, you got John Collins, the Atlanta Hawks. The rumors have been kind of surfacing there. But Atlanta is contending right now, so I think it'd be kind of a hard bargain to get John Collins to come to us. And I would imagine Atlanta would probably want RJ Barrett if they were trading away John Collins, so we won't go that route. And then also, of course, you have the Sacramento Kings with De'Aaron Fox. I think De'Aaron Fox would cost similar to what Donovan Mitchell costed us, so I don't really see how we make that happen. So we can try to maybe snag De'Aaron Fox in a rebuilding stage for the Sacramento Kings, which would be really fun to bring him over, obviously. You form a very dynamic backcourt, but again, I feel like we'd have to trade away RJ Barrett in order to make that happen. And then, of course, there's us, but we're not worried about us. And then my last option, I mean, also you have Domantas Sabonis from the Pacers, which that is a decent option, and he probably wouldn't cost as much. So that is actually a legitimate option. But the last one I was kind of looking at, and I kind of sometimes forget about this guy quite often, and that is DeJounte Murray on the San Antonio Spurs. 26 years of age, 88 overall. And he is in an interesting state on the Spurs where potentially they could look to trade him eventually. Maybe not right now, but at the trade deadline this year in the year of 2023, is it possible that the Spurs would look to move him? And he might be a little bit cheaper than some other guys. So you're bringing in DeJounte Murray as our point guard, which of course also Tom Thibodeau loves defense. So Murray would also fit that mold. So it's pretty much between Sabonis or DeJounte Murray. And if you're going to make me choose, I'm going to try to get DeJounte Murray from the San Antonio Spurs to fill our point guard position, which is a void right now. So let's go ahead and talk to the San Antonio Spurs and try to bring in another legitimate player to form into this New York Knicks roster with Donovan Mitchell, with RJ Barrett. I'm going to try not to trade either of these guys. So what would they want is your question. And that's a good question. So we have Collins, who we drafted, Avery Bradley, Lucas Samanik. So not a ton of options, to be honest with you. We have picks. We can offer. So maybe that's a little bit more value to them. So we have Alec Burks, who's an expiring contract. We also have Evan Fournier, Nerlens Noel, who's an expiring Otto Porter, who we obviously, how far off are we? So we're $4 million away. So what else could we throw in here? Obviously, we have Otto Porter, who we could throw in here as a potential trade piece. He's averaging 12 points per game on 40% shooting. So I don't know if I want to trade away Otto Porter. He's actually been pretty good for us. There's Evan Fournier as well. They could throw in here. So what you could do is you have an Evan Fournier, Alec Burks trade. And then it would be, you'd have to probably take on like Doug McDermott, would probably be too expensive for us to take. There's Drew Eubanks, maybe. And we're still a little bit off. The Spurs would acquire too much. Okay. So we can't do that. Or the Spurs, oh yeah, the Spurs would acquire too much. So Otto Porter, actually, Nerlens Noel might be a realistic option as well. Let's just try for Nerlens Noel. I don't know why I didn't think of that earlier. So let's go back, either Akita or there's even Tristan Thompson. So you have Alec Burks, Nerlens Noel. Obviously, this is a terrible package with DeJounte Murray. But if you take a look at some of the picks that we have, that's where it could become interesting for them. 2023, 2025, and maybe even 2027 if we get to that point. 3 first-round picks for DeJounte Murray. Terrible trade package, but you get a bunch of picks, I guess. I don't know. Would the Spurs be interested? This is the question. 3 picks. As a desperate team, maybe you can throw Lucas Samanik in there, whatever. So I'm going to offer this. If they don't accept it, this is my best package. And they don't agree. Okay. What about a second? Does that entice you? It does not. So DeJounte Murray will not be coming to our team. It makes some sense. I'm not going to lie. Or what we could do instead of, or you know what? Maybe we could do is technically maybe take Tristan Thompson out of this. Drew Eubank. Oh, it's the same thing. Okay. Here's my other thing that I could potentially do is I could throw Derrick Rose in here maybe to sweeten the pot just a little bit for them. And then if they don't accept this, so just like that, they agreed. We gave them Derrick Rose. We get DeJounte Murray. So DeJounte Murray is now a New York Knick. I feel like the Knicks would probably have to have a younger player in this package, but regardless, we're just having some fun here in 2K. DeJounte Murray, Donovan Mitchell, RJ Barrett, Otto Porter, Mitch Robinson, Cameron Reddish as well, Thompson, and Evan freaking Fournier. All right, we've pretty much sold out. We've put the team we want to put around Donovan Mitchell. DeJounte Murray's shot tendency is kind of low, but I'm going to boost it up to like a 78. So let's go ahead and celebrate the rest of the season now that DeJounte Murray is our point guard. Is this good enough to win a championship in the East? Let's find out. So one of the scarier guys in the Eastern Conference wins MVP and Joel Embiid. Cade Cunningham wins Rookie of the Year. That's just still happening. I know someone told me how to fix it, but honestly, it really doesn't bother me all that much. It says years pro 1, so still not sure why that is. I mean, games played is 82, so it's just, I think, a glitch in 2K, which is fine, I guess. 6th man goes to Kevin Love, Giannis defensive player, and Emmanuel Quickley wins most improved on the Utah Jazz. So they got themselves a pretty good guard there in Utah with Emmanuel Quickley and the Nate McMillan Coach of the Year. So we ended up being the 3rd seed in the East. I thought we've put together a pretty interesting team out East, and I think we'd be a really young team, and some teams would be a little afraid of us, I would say. Donovan Mitchell as the #1 guy with RJ Barrett and DeJounte Murray. If you guys face this team, if your favorite team played this team in the playoffs, would you be intimidated at all? That's the question. So 28 from Mitchell, 21 from RJ, 17 from DeJounte. Even Cameron Reddish had 15 off the bench, which is awesome. Otto Porter with 11. Again, he was very good for us. 40% from 3, or 38%, I guess, is where he ended off. But he was 40% at the trade deadline. Mitch Robinson with 2.5 blocks and 9 rebounds, 10 points. And then Evan Fournier, 9 points to be a nice bench piece. And then we also got Tristan Thompson to be our backup center. And we have Nerlens Noel as well. So I forgot. I didn't realize that we had 2 centers in the rotation, to be honest with you, which I guess is fine. Whatever. So let's go ahead, though, and see if we can beat the Toronto Raptors in the first round. So I think we have the potential to go far. We've sold a lot of our assets away. We've kind of went for it. So Madison Square Garden should be very excited. They should be like, okay, this is our year to win it. And we do just that, though. Playing Toronto, which is a good team, so you never really know. So in a current round, and we are going to beat them in 5. So good start. We were able to get past the Raptors. Now I get to play the 7th-seeded Miami Heat. So we go look at Miami. They got Lowry, Harrow, Jimmy Butler, Batum, Bam, Jalen Brunson, Max Strus, Omer, and then Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Gabe Vincent. All right. See what happens here. So in the current round, and we are going to sweep the Miami Heat. Now we get the 8th-seeded Cleveland Cavaliers. So we've pretty much put our path on a good one. Garland, Okoro, Osman, Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen, Kevin Love, Laurie Markin, and Chris Boucher. Same old Cavs team we're used to seeing, but Cavs are a little intimidating this game, not gonna lie. Game 1, we're up 1-0, start things off though. 27-24, 20 and 16. Game 2, we're up 2-0. Game 3, 2-1. Hopefully we don't let them even it up. We did just that. That is not a good look. I'm gonna simcast game 5 because going down 3-2 to Cleveland is a death sentence in this game. So hopefully we don't do that. We got to take care of home court here. We are up 2-0. Madison Square Garden's going to be rocking, baby. So hopefully we take care of home court and then we go to Cleveland and beat them. So it is actually a relatively close game, but we were able to close it out 117-125. Now, can we beat them in 6? No, we cannot. We're going to a game 7 in Madison Square Garden. Okay, this is going to be one of the biggest game 7s for a long time, in a long time for New York. So please, please, please win this and go to the finals because we traded away a lot in order to make this team happen. So it looks pretty good. I think we were able to beat Cleveland 84-109, 23 from Donovan Mitchell, 17 from Kevin Love. And now we get to play either Memphis or Minnesota. We get the Memphis Grizzlies, who are also pretty scary in 2K. So we'll see what happens. We get to play Memphis. We have John Morant, Desmond Bane, Dillon Brooks, Jaren Jackson, Adams, TJ Warren. All right, game 1. We're up 1-0, 126-124. Take the lead. Are they the higher seed? I think we are, or maybe not actually. They might be the higher seed. We actually probably were at home for them. So, game 2. We're up 2-0. That's great. We beat them 142-111, 32-38 from Donovan Mitchell. Game 3. We're up 3-0. And honestly, guys, I didn't expect it to be this easy today. But if we're going to win a championship in 1 year, I'm totally okay with that. That's a W in my opinion. This was a little bit, actually, this was a pretty fun rebuild. I'm not going to lie. Did I go a little too out of the realm of realistic? Definitely. I think I definitely did. I think I might have went a little too crazy in this video. But hey, if it wins a championship, it's worth it. I'm happy with the production we got out of this. Let's go ahead and simulate to the end of this. We're going to watch championship celebration. Donovan Mitchell brings a ring to New York. Now, only if that can happen in real life. Will it happen, or is it just the media stirring the pot again? Let me know what you guys think. If you want to stick around for the championship celebration, you're more than welcome to. This was actually, honestly, a really fun one. So I hope you guys enjoyed. This is Crushables. I'm saying peace. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you click here to watch another video that I know you'll love.